Hey everyone, Nick Griot, Griot's Garage, and today we're going to try and help you establish if you need to correct your paint. Now, paint correction can be as simple or as complicated as you want it to be. You can use one-step polishes by hand or do multiple correction steps from wet sanding to multiple compounding, polishing, and finishing steps by machine. Really, the most important aspect of this is that you know what to look for on your car's paint and establish whether or not you even have to do a correction step or if you're happy with your paint condition as it is. We're going to take a look at this black Lexus over here and show you what to look for to establish what you need to do in a correction process. So basically, we have here a daily driven Lexus RX. Out here in Seattle, you're going to get a ton of road grime, not as much salt as you will in more snow-laden areas across the country, but with a black car, it's always going to be dirty, and those darker colors tend to show paint defects more than any other colors. Now, from about 5-10 feet, this car looks great. It has a true black look to it, and it looks really nice. However, upon closer inspection, we can start to see a couple of its flaws show up. Now, what you're going to be looking for is anything like consistent scratches, water spots, dulling of the paint finish. These are early signs that you may have some damage to your paint that a correction or polishing step could remedy very easily. Establishing how much you need to do is really up to you. Now, on a daily driven car that's dark like this one, you may not ever really need to get perfect paint. On a lighter car, you may never even see the defects. However, correcting can improve the depth, color, and clarity of your paint finish. Now with this one, again, with just the ambient light that we have in here, it's fluorescent, it's not that intense, it's looking great and looking black. However, with a more intense LED light or sunlight or even the flashlight on most modern day smartphones, you can start to see some of the damages come out a little cleaner. So if I start looking up and down the car, again, my initial inspection, just to my naked eye, I can see small watermarks. Now, watermarks are usually easy enough to remove just by a washing process. However, if you ever get hit with a sprinkler, something that has extremely hard water, they may etch or cause damage to the paint and can be remedied by a polishing process. Now, if I bust out my cell phone and turn on the flashlight and pan it across the paint, I'm going to see a little bit more consistent damage. Now, what I'm seeing is very tight, fine swirl marks, and they pretty much look like spider webs. That's another term that people use to describe them. And really what I'm seeing here, this is evidence of somebody that has driven this through an automated car wash with recycled water and those really aggressive brushes that just scratch the hell out of your paint to the point where, yeah, it's clean, but took quite a bit of paint off with it. In this scenario, again, seeing those consistent swirl marks and those water spots, I would say that this car will need some correction or polishing. Now, as we always preach, you can always do more, you can't undo. And especially if you're fighting against time, you want to start with a very mild step. And again, we can elaborate on all the different polishing steps. We can get really deep into that wormhole, but we're going to do it in a video other than this one. So again, take a high intensity light, get it out in the sun, and play with your eye as you move back and forth across the paint to establish whether or not you do have these early signs of paint damage. Now again, this is all up to you, how much time you have, how perfect you want your car's paint to be. And if it's a daily driven car and it's a light color, you may never ever need a significant correction process. But if it's black and you're OCD, like we are and most of our customers are, you're probably going to want to do a correction process, if not a very mild one, once to twice a year. Thank you for watching. For more information on paint correction, be sure to visit griotsgarage.com. And as always, have fun in your garage.